It was the dying wish of his headmaster that Graham Bick, who's 27, should take over the job. Graham Purchase has been to King Alfred's School near Bridgewater to see how the former bank official is settling into his new job.
Graham Bick was head boy when he left £500 a term King Alfred's School to take an arts degree and become a banker. He thought he'd seen the last of school meals, but today it all came back when he returned as headmaster after being named in the will of the former head as the person he wanted to succeed him.
It's just a job that once it had been put to me, I thought, good God, what a splendid idea. And I took a lot of time thinking about whether I could, and B, whether I should, and came to the conclusion that I was sort of competent on both those grounds, if you like. And obviously I was very sorry to leave the job I had. I had a sort of career in front of me, I enjoyed it. But I think this one could be far, far more rewarding in a sort of job satisfaction sense.
Mr. Bick feels that he was chosen to succeed the former headmaster because they shared a sense of humour and a love of school traditions. Those traditions will be safe in Mr. Bick's hands, and he's quite happy about the fact that he's now in authority over some of those who taught him as a boy.
And now the main points of the news again, with subtitles for the hard of hearing. The governor of Brixton Prison, Mr. Michael Selby, has been moved to another job in the prison service following last December's breakout. An inquiry into the escape by Gerard Chewett, the alleged IRA bomber, and 2 other men, has recommended new measures to make Brixton more efficient, but it has cleared the prison staff of conspiracy or collusion. The TUC has put forward a plan for £6,000 million worth of new government investment to help Britain get off its back. It wants more money spent on public transport, especially British Rail, increased council house building, and more investment in high technology. And the TUC warns that if this economic alternative to the government strategy is ignored, it will mean another 1 million people out of work by the start of 1982. Yorkshire miners have voted in favour of taking industrial action to oppose possible pit closures in the area. Over 85% of the miners who voted supported action, including strikes, if the National Coal Board announced any closures. The union suspects the coal board may close up to 16 mines because of high coal stocks at power stations and falling demand elsewhere. Talks over the Times newspaper have been adjourned for a week, just 3 days before a deadline for agreement set by the present owners. Rupert Murdoch, who plans to take over the paper, wants a pay freeze until next year, compulsory redundancies, and a new disputes procedure. One print union leader, Bill Keyes of Sogat, said Mr. Murdoch was asking almost for the impossible. Newsnight at 10:45 asks journalists from The Times and The Sunday Times whether Rupert Murdoch's bid for their papers may now be running into difficulties. And there's a report on India's 9 million blind people. Is their government doing enough to help them?
And now we take a look at the weather forecast. Wales, southern and central parts of England will have a wet start to tomorrow. By the end of the morning, however, this should have been replaced by brighter or drier weather, although with some showers, especially in the north and west. Scotland, Northern Ireland and Northern England will have sunny intervals and showers throughout the day, the showers frequent and squally in the north where snow is likely later. It'll become colder everywhere and it'll be very windy both tonight and tomorrow. And that's the weather forecast. Meet the dish of the day and hear his recommendations in Hitch-Hiker's Guide to the Galaxy tonight at 9. If you're thinking of having a short break in Devon and are in need of a quiet rest, we'd like to warn you that it might not be a good idea to book in at a hotel called Fawlty Towers.